Hola chicos, dado tiempo, so much time since I've given one of these videos, I figured that this would be the best thing for me to do while some people are working on their projects. People can come listen to this and then we can just pick right up with it tomorrow. So chicos, real quick, the final thing that we'll look at this chapter in terms of grammar are usted and ustedes commands. So we've just been talking about tú commands, right? If I'm talking directly to tú, which remember is you, in an informal kind of way, how to tell you what to do and how you tell you what not to do. These commands that we're going to take a look at in these notes today, in this video, are directed towards usted, so like a one formal person, and ustedes, like a more than one formal person. As is always the case, we're not really worried about vosotros for the purposes of this class. The good news about these commands is that they basically look exactly like the negative tú commands, they just have different endings. Like, you'll drop the S and instead you'll do different things, and you'll see that in a sec. So without further ado, almost every day I say one of the following phrases. I'll say sacan los libros, I'll say siéntense, I'll say abran los libros a la página 270 y algo. I'll just give you commands that look like this. All of these commands that end in like saquen, sienten, abran are called ustedes commands, which basically just means that in that case, I'm telling more than one person to do something. Usted and ustedes commands are very simple to form, and like I said, they look almost identical to the negative tú commands. So for AR verbs, what you'll do is you'll take the yo form of the verb, you'll drop the o. So for example, escuchar would change to escucho, drop the o from that, and then add the opposite ending, which in this case is simply the letter e. Again, it's much like a negative tú command, just without the s. So for example, escucho would become escuche. So let's say that I'm talking to one person, I want to show them respect, but I still want to tell them to do something. I would just say escuche. Would be an usted command. For AR and IR verbs, it's similar as well. You take the O from the verb. For example, comer would change to como, abrir would change to abro, drop the O, and then add the opposite ending, which for an ER and IR verb would be the letter A. So for example, comer would change to coma, abrir would change to abra. Again, if I were commanding one formal person to do something. Let's say, though, that I'm talking to a group of people, like how I am always talking to the class, which is more than one person. If I want to form an ustedes command, that is, if I'm talking to more than one person, I want to command y'all to do something. It'll look very similar as well. For AR verbs, we'll take the yo form of the verb. For example, escuchar would change to escucho, drop the O, and add the opposite ending. In this case, the letters E, N. So, for example, escuchar would change to escuchen, again, ending in EN. And then for ER and IR verbs, you would take the O from the verb. For example, comer would change to como, abrir would change to abro. You drop the O, and then add the opposite ending, which in this case is the letter AN, or the letters AN. So for example, comer would change to coman, abrir would change to abran, which is where I get that word that I say all the time. If I tell you to open your books to something, abran los libros a la página, whatever it is. As was the case with negative tú commands, there are also some irregulars. So, note that they look basically the same as the negative tú commands, just without the S, and then if it's in the ustedes form, it's with an N. So for example, dar is de in the usted command form, and usted in the ustedes command form. Estar is este or ested. Ir is, oh sorry, that's a typo. That should be vaya, no N there, or vayan with the N. Saber is sepa or sepan, with or without the N. Ser is sea or sean. And again, sea or sean, not see, not Sean. One final note, any of those weird cargazar verbs that picked up the weird change, both in the cargazar form as well in the negative tú command form, pick up those same weird changes here. So for example, sacar would change to saque, the C would change to QU, for example, saquen la tarea, to keep that k sound. And then same deal with empezar. Empezar, which has a Z in it, would change to a C just like it did in the cargazar verbs. Empiecen el ejercicio, for example, start the activity. So chiquillos, that is all. If you're listening to this in class today and you have questions for me, just ask me in person. Otherwise, if you're listening to this for homework, just write any questions down and have them ready for tomorrow when I see you. Adios chicos, nos vemos.